Well, thanks for having us here. I'm pretty excited to kind of provide the introduction to what Lee's going to talk about around optimizing AML productivity, and really to do that, I'd like to, before we get into that, is to take a step back a little bit and talk about, what is it that we're seeing in terms of regulatory observation and trends, and how does that relate to, what we're seeing in terms of AML optimization. And I think kind of the overarching theme is that we're seeing, not just increased regulatory scrutiny, but an increased need to really be able to bring together kind of sources of information to try to optimize operational processes that even a couple of years ago was not really something that regulators and or organizations were focused on. So, as kind of if you think about on the right-hand side of the slide, the fact that there is this kind of increasing expectation of supervisory scrutiny. On the right-hand side, you also have, essentially regulatory institutions that are really focused on, having firms understand kind of a comprehensive assessment of their risk. And part of that comprehensive assessment is to not just be able to understand kind of the transactional information in their organizations, but also to be able to reconcile or tie that back to the unstructured or semi-structured data that in a lot of cases is kind of the foundation of their understanding of risk within a specific business process, whether that's around lending, whether that's around AML, or whether that's around a different risk area. And, today when I turn it over to Lee, he's going to talk a little bit, he's going to talk about kind of a solution specific to AML. But I think to kind of set the landscape here a little bit is it's not just about kind of optimizing AML productivity. We think some of the same technologies and techniques can be used to really think about the overall kind of landscape of risk within an organization. And so, what does that actually kind of mean for you? It means that there's an expectation where, institutions are being expected to bring together, aggregate, sift multiple data sources that in a lot of cases are not just structured data sources. They're also, pieces of unstructured information to really paint an overall picture of what risk looks like. And what we're seeing is really, firms that are, spending time not just kind of trying to optimize understanding of what's happening in terms of transactions, but really what's happening in terms of the overall kind of risk flow within, within different kind of business processes. So whether it's around, how do you get a better job of understanding, kind of the operational aspects of